Hello and welcome back to Let Me Tell You Podcast, Jeremy Jacobowitz. I am your host, Jeremy Jacobowitz, and this week we are talking about AI, specifically Perplexity, and how I have sort of like incorporated it into my workflow to just sort of like supercharge everything that I do to create smarter, faster, and better food travel content. I'm a little obsessed with it. And you guys know, like, this podcast ends up being like, what is Jeremy obsessed with this week? And it's been Perplexity and AI. So we're going to talk about that, plus restaurant news on a new fast casual health-focused restaurant, a holiday special bagel, a lot more, and of course what I'm into this week. Plus, only for you, merch is still on sale with the exclusive newsletter code DEC25 for 12% off everything on jeremyjshop.com, and that's on top of orders over $75 now get free shipping. I think you guys have like 1 day left to get orders in to make sure to get there for Christmas. So definitely make sure you do that. I'm wearing the new Let Me Tell You Why t-shirt. It's a new material. It's a little oversized, feels very comfortable. It's a new design, all brand new, all jeremyjshop.com. Check it out. And if you're watching this on YouTube, well, I hope you are, because I made a big change this week. I've launched a brand new YouTube channel just for this podcast. It's called Let Me Tell You Why. We're going to talk about this ties into the whole AI thing. We're going to talk about why I did that. So hopefully you're watching this. And what I'm going to try and do is, obviously I'm saying all this before I did anything, I'm going to try to collaborate on the first episode to see if I could like come up on the Jeremy Jacobowitz SpongeBob's feed in case you love watching on YouTube also. And I'll try and let everyone know. I feel bad for missing you guys, but there's a very good reason I started a new channel. It wasn't for like vanity reasons at all. It was for business reasons, and hopefully it can make the podcast even better. So we'll get into that, but just like new YouTube channel, yay. But let's get into some restaurant news. All right, special for the month of December, H&H Bagels has launched a special rainbow cookie cream cheese, which adds the iconic rainbow cookie dessert into a sweet cream cheese. I love rainbow cookies. I don't particularly love sweet cream cheeses or sweet bagels, but if this is your thing, it does look very good, so check it out. Matter is a new fast casual restaurant with a focus on clean eating and nutrition in their meals. Launched alongside a trackable app, you can customize everything in real time with calories, macros, and portions, all for like what you need for your body. Highlights on the menu include things like Chipotle chicken fajitas, miso glazed salmon, Mediterranean chicken plate, and more. I've already been seeing everyone post about this on socials. I think people really like it. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty healthy, so I'll always take more good, healthy options. Same is the new wine bar in Hell's Kitchen from the team behind Monkey Thief and Sama Streets. They will have 6 rotating wines by the glass, which change weekly, along with a number of cocktails and a menu perfect for sharing. Think oysters, shrimp toast made with brioche, yuzu, kosho, and muskrat, lime leaves, cavatelli, and a KFC. I'm assuming that's Korean fried chicken with buttermilk ranch, hot sauce, and a chive aioli. And finally, Kimmy is an all-new, completely gluten-free restaurant opening in Chinatown from the team behind Tiger Lily Kitchen. Everything is completely celiac safe, which not all gluten-free stuff is, with highlights including peanut noodles, spicy tuna crispy cakes, and pork belly skewers. Sounds pretty good. If you need like a legit gluten-free spot, more options for you is pretty sweet. So what you may have missed, a few videos that I posted in the past few weeks that maybe you guys missed, maybe you guys should check out. They're posted all over Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Threads, Lemonade. I went back on X for some insane reason, all over the place. So you can check these videos out. Hidden Gem Coffee Shop in Kyoto. That's right. I'm not over posting my Japan content, which is perfect. And I'm just about finished with it because it's just perfect timing because I just booked another Japan trip. I'll be back there again in January, but we'll talk about that another time. This coffee shop was amazing. One of the best like coffee experiences I've ever had. Banana toast, that was great. Definitely check that out. More Japan things, but this time right here in Brooklyn, Japanese egg salad croissants. Radio Bakery, which I talked about endlessly on so many videos about it right now. I had a very special egg salad croissant that was incredible. I don't know if it's going to continue to be on the menu. I don't believe it's on the menu right now. But my hope, my dream, my wish is that they put this egg salad back on the menu in croissant form and in Santo form would be great because it was amazing. And then 9 must-eat Atlantic City restaurants. That video is live on YouTube. There's a whole guide on Substack. It's on TikTok and Instagram and everywhere. 9 must-eat restaurants in Atlantic City. At Atlantic City, I found some gems in Atlantic City, some really great spots. It's worth a few days. Really fun food. Check that out. And speaking of guides and must-eat places, another Substack and YouTube dropped. Zurich, Switzerland travel guide, 10 must eat restaurants plus tips, tricks, and more. I went to Zurich, Switzerland. I was there for like 3.5, 4 days. Also found some amazing eats. I went to one of the best spas I've ever been to. The hotels were nice. It was such a beautiful city. You just walk around. The trams are ever. Really, really enjoyed it. So the YouTube lives as more of a, hey, let's check out all these restaurants. And then there's a full guide with everything written out, a downloadable Google map, plus like all my tips for the city, all my tricks for the city, all the hotels I stayed at, more information on that spa, and so much more. Check that out, jeremysub.com. All right, so let's talk about the main topic this week, which is AI, which can be a very scary topic and a topic which for the most part we're going to have fun with. But I do want to start off with the bad part, which is that like unbridled, unregulated AI is very bad. The fact that all these companies are just being able to do whatever they want without any government intervention because government has no power and doesn't even understand it at all is very, 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 very bad and could very well lead to the end of civilization and everything's life as we know it. It is bad on top of every other bad thing it could be doing. And I think that there's good use for AI and I think that there's bad use for AI. And unfortunately, at this point, is up to the users on which one they're going to do with it. Deep fakes are bad. Stealing IP is bad. Just purely making fucking slop is bad. And I don't believe, and I don't want to push that rhetoric at all. That's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about making AI slop. I'm not an AI. That was going to be the big reveal. You're watching an AI thing, which has happened to me on YouTube. They'll be like, oh, by the way, I'm actually an AI. And I was like, I just thought you were like a little bit of a weirdo, but okay, cool. But I also think like I have so many conversations with people being like, I don't even want to use it. This is so stupid. AI is so bad. How could you be part of it? The power usage and all these things for it. And like I said, there's a lot of downsides. But at the same time, if you're going to sit there and say, I'm not going to use AI, you're fucking toast. You're going to be fucking toast. And we'll get into some of those reasons why here, but like we are older. We're barely scratching the surface. People younger than us are going to be able to know how to use AI. And it's going to be such a helpful tool for so many things. And if you sit there and I'm like, I'm going to be the person not to use it, you're donezo in this world. You just fucking are. So I think my approach with it has always been like to speak to it and put it out there in a way which I think could actually be beneficial and not hurtful and push people to use it in the right way. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And there's all these there's a million AI things to use. You all know ChatGPT and there's Gemini and there's whatever Apple's stupid thing is, all these things. But the one that I am obsessed with is Perplexity. And let me tell you why. I said it. I said the name of the podcast. What Perplexity is so great at, on top of a million other things, is research. And here's the number one main thing of like how I've incorporated into my workflow, which has made me so much more productive, which is I basically use Perplexity in lieu of Google search. And the difference is, let's say I'm writing a script, right? Okay, so the way I write my scripts is everything's shot in the field. So I have all the footage of me eating. If it's quiet enough space, I have the footage of me speaking. But there's very little like actual information in terms of like the restaurant and the background and the history and the names of the dishes and all that stuff. Because those are things that I just forget. And I'm never going to say that on camera because I'm probably going to fuck it up and then I have unusable footage. So all that goes into the VO, which goes into my videos. So traditionally, let's say, just pick a fucking, let's say I was going to McDonald's. So what I would do before is I would go to Google and I would type in McDonald's and I would try and find as much useful information as I can to put into this video. Maybe something about the history, maybe something about that location, maybe something about this, but what's going on with it, blah, blah. And that probably takes a few websites to click on, like probably start first in their website, say what they have to say on the about page. Oh, maybe there's more. Okay, maybe someone wrote a review about it. They found out some really interesting nuggets of information. Okay, go view some reviews. Oh, I'm writing the script about this dish. Oh man, what was it? Did I get this thing right? Wait, is this what it is? And you're just going through different websites. And it doesn't take forever, but it takes, a good 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? Instead, now what I do is I go to Perplexity and I'm like, hey, Perplexity, can you write a short summary about McDonald's? So just say I want to talk very general there. And what I like about Perplexity is that if you were to type that prompt into ChatGPT or another AI program, it doesn't always, but sometimes it just makes up things. It just it just says things. And you can't really rely on that for factual information. What I like about Perplexity is that it very, very, very rarely makes up stuff. It is very much there for a research platform. So what it does instead is it spits out a few paragraphs and it cites where it got all of its information from. So it says McDonald's was opened in 1954 by whoever. And then it puts the citation there where it got it from. So if I question it at all, I'm like, oh wait, I thought it was open in the 30s. I'm gonna double check that. You can double check that information right in front of you. And when you're getting research like this is so critical. But remember, like instead of me going through all those websites for 15, 20 minutes, it spit out this goddamn summary for me in 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, I have all the information I need right in front of me. That is an incredible change of pace for something that I'm doing over and over and over and over again. And now I'm not just copy and pasting that into my script. I'm using that information to write the script the way I would say it. But it is right there and it's great. And then what I'll do next is I'll use it to fit, like I have terrible grammar. And I want the video to sound like I do, but sometimes I'll write something and I'm like, just the way my brain works, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But I don't know how to say anything differently. So I will, I'll take it, I'll put it back, I'll take that line and put it into Perplexity. And he'd be like, hey, is there a better way to say this? And it says something like, oh shit, yes. So really what I'm using it is like, especially as a content creator, especially as someone that works for themselves, I'm using it to sort of bounce ideas off of in lieu of like being in an office. Like if I was in an office, I could be like, oh, hey Stacy, like I'm trying to say this. What do you think? And they could give me the answer, but I don't. I'm alone in my apartment. And to have an AI that's so helpful in that way to bounce ideas off us and does this sound better? What about this? What about this? What about this? Is really, really, really helpful. And then it's again, it's all about these time-saving things. So what I used to do for this podcast, which is coincide with the newsletter that comes out, if you don't know, you could essentially read this podcast if you want. But what I used to do is this main topic that we're talking about now. I would go on camera, I would record my whole spiel for 20 minutes or so, whatever it is. And then I would go back and I would type out the same thing. So just kind of remember sort of what I said. I would watch it back and I would try and summarize it in a way that made sense for a newsletter. Now what I do is I take this whole file, this 20-minute file of me talking, I export an audio file. I take the audio file, I put it into Perplexity. I'm like, hey, could you write a summary in first person of this track? And what it does is literally that. So it's not making up shit. It's not writing it for me. It's taking my words that I have said and just putting it out in a way that makes better sense for the written form of the newsletter as opposed to me trying to do it. And like, not only is it better, it's more readable. This takes 2 seconds. It's supposed to me being like, oh, God damn it. I got 20 minutes of what I said. How do I retype that? Like it's all these ways that are shaping the way my content could be. And this is all we're still talking about like baseline level stuff in Perplexity of what I'm doing. The next huge thing that I've been using it for, and the thing I teased at the beginning of why I have a new YouTube channel for this podcast, was like analytics and data are so critical for what I do. But it's really hard. Like all the platforms give you data, but sometimes it's hard to actually interpret what that means because they're not even very clear. YouTube's better at this than other platforms, but like TikTok and Instagram, it's very unclear. They're like, they'll say 33% of your audience is in New York, but it's like, how do you even know that? How do you even use that data if I'm not even sure if it's accurate or whatever? So what I did this week was I took my YouTube channel. I said, hey, Perplexity, can you go through my YouTube channel, Jeremy Jacobowitz, and can you tell me why I'm underperforming? And what it said to me was it wasn't something I didn't necessarily know, but it's something that like maybe my stubbornness, because I'm just sitting here thinking by myself and I don't have anyone to bounce ideas off of. It was like, hey, dum-dum, your travel guide videos like do really well, but YouTube isn't pushing your content as much because you keep posting these podcasts that feel so different from the videos that do well that actually drags down your entire account. And I was like, I know that. I knew that was the answer, but I guess I didn't want to believe it. And having Perplexity, a very, very smart thing, be like, yeah, this is the answer. I was like, shit. So I started a new YouTube channel. Like I did the same thing for TikTok and for Instagram. Like again, it's that like ability to quickly do research, which is such a huge game changer. Like, can you imagine going through? I said, analyze my TikTok. I've posted on TikTok for 6 years, posted on Instagram for 10 years, 12 years, whatever. And now I don't know how far back it's able to go, but it certainly went far back enough to give me some really great insights. And you can do that for other channels too. You could be like, hey, this channel thing is doing really well. Like, what is it doing well? You know, why is that channel doing better than other channels? The analytics and data and interpretation of that data that you can get from, I can't do that. I can't interpret it. I could go through all those videos. Maybe I don't have the expertise to interpret. And like, does anyone have that expertise? I don't know. But to give you like a real advantage is so insane. I'm completely obsessed with this. So even like you could even go further. Like, so I decided this week to pay for Perplexity Pro. Everything I've told you right now, I think you could do for free. Maybe analyzing YouTube. I don't know if it goes as deep if you don't pay for it, but essentially those things are free. What's incredible about Perplexity is like they have like this labs feature and this other feature, I forget what it's called, but it like will actually give you like full breakdowns, like research paper levels of things you want to dig into, which is insane. It'll build apps for you. Like I was messing with it, just being like, okay, like I don't think it's good enough to like launch the app. Like I went through it and like it works. It made an app of like an app idea I've had for a while that I'm not gonna talk about yet. But I was like, I just want to kind of want to like see it. And it made it and like I think it's like a little too basic looking to launch. But the fact that it made it so I could like show people my idea and maybe like find someone to actually develop it is huge. And we're like right at the beginning of this stuff. And sort of going back to the whole thing of like, listen, there are dangers to AI. There are dangers on a literal human level. There are dangers on a work level. It's dangerous. This is this. But if you ignore this, you're gonna be left behind because you're gonna have even some of the. I'm an elder millennial, which I found out this week. An elder millennial, we are going to get screwed over by Generation Alpha, who is going to know how to use AI and supercharge and fucking pummel us. So it is critical to get on this now. It's critical to understand it now. And again, it's that fine line that unfortunately has to be up to you because there's no regulation and it's up to the user and it's up to us to control it in any way. So do I want someone going on to these platforms and just creating AI videos slop and putting them out there? No, I don't. That's my line. I would hope that's everyone else's line. Do I want it to be able to assist you to put your creative work out in the world? 1,000,000,000%. There are so many things in the way of people being able to be creative. And I don't necessarily think that like pulling down some of those barriers is bad. I think it could lead to bad stuff, but I think that we've seen in the past that it's been actually really good. The barriers to create, especially video in the past 100 years, went from literally nobody for so long because of the cameras you had to use and and there's nowhere even to watch it and all that stuff. Those barriers slowly go down and down and down and down to lead to this world that we have now, which is essentially anyone can pick up a phone and post a video on TikTok and make videos. And that's so cool to be able to get your ideas and creativity out there in a way you've never had been able to before. And that's certainly what AI can help do. I just don't want it to lead to slop. And I see it already. I scroll all these, there's there's so many weird AI trends of video stuff. And my whole thing was, I think we just have to make sure that we label it properly. I don't want to be making AI video slop. We're the cat's out of the bag. People are doing it. But I think at least something with like Sora, which seems to be like the best one right now, I guess. It watermarks Sora all over the video. So you know this isn't real. Because it could be bad. Really, really, really bad. Which is why we need regulation. But I want to believe that the positives outweigh the negatives here. And I do think that there is God, this is such like a deeper level conversation. I want to actually do like a full podcast about this because this is like a whole other thing. But like, I'm going to sound like a crazy person, but whatever. The issue we have with AI in the future is that I don't think capitalism and AI can coincide with each other. The reason is that the utopian view of AI is that we could use it to lower prices on everything. Why are so many things so expensive? It is the labor and cost of manufacturing and moving goods and all those things that add up and add up and add up and add up and add up. So why does this house cost $5 million? So much of that is materials and work and whatever. If we just have AI drones everywhere, able to 3D print shit and build, well, maybe that giant house now doesn't cost $5 million. Maybe housing is more affordable because it's so much cheaper to build. Can you imagine an infrastructure we could build in this country if we are able to reduce the prices? Now, just the flip side to that is two things. To make it cheaper means that we lose jobs, which is terrifying. But if everything in the world is cheaper, maybe we don't need to have, maybe we need different jobs. This is where we're going, folks. Like this is it. And it ends up leading to communism, which is sort of what we're getting to, which is a whole other thing. But the problem is that in this world right now where capitalism reigns supreme, they're never going to sell that house for cheaper. That house that now costs them 1/20th. We're just using a house as an example, but you can pick anything. That house now costs them 1/100th of a cost to produce will never be sold for 1/100th of that cost because their whole thing is maximizing profits and they don't give a shit. And that's where it gets bad. Because we have this, that's where it goes from utopia to dystopia. The dystopia is the rich keep getting richer, and now all these jobs are being replaced and everything's so more goddamn expensive. And now what is this world? Goes back to the whole thing of regulation. We need goddamn regulation on this shit. And we need it now because the cat's out of the bag and the advancements in AI are fucking crazy. And we're just scratching the goddamn surface. We're not even talking about Terminator shit and Her and all these other movies that perfectly probably predicted the future. But what's at the core of all those things? The core of all those things the issue was never AI itself. It was the people building them and selling them and having no regulations. And this is what it led to. God, we're so far off the track here. Here's the point. Perplexity is really good. I think if you want to supercharge your work and make your life easier and be way more productive, which I'm being so much more productive, it's fucking crazy. I think you should get on it. I think you should give it a shot. I like Perplexity. There are a million out there. Find which one works for you. But I really enjoy it. But use it in a safe way. And this is my this podcast is crazy. Let's talk about what I'm into this week. That's a fun topic. One, I started rewatching Iron Chef, the original dubbed Japanese Iron Chef from Food Network, the one I fell in love with. Not the American version, not the Netflix version, but the OG original one from like 2000 it came over here. It's just as good as I remember. It's frankly even better. In a world where we've now seen 10 trillion food competition shows, nothing beats the original. It is just the best. And then even like went back and I watched like the Bobby Flay Morimoto battle. And I also want to do something long form in this too, because there's like so many funny things about it and amazing things about it. But still that like I remember the controversy of like Bobby jumping up on the cutting board or whatever. And I remember Morimoto being bad, but I didn't remember like the very specifics of it. I'm like, yeah, dude, Morimoto was pissed. And I remember this being like the biggest deal ever. And to rewatch that, I was like, oh shit. Fucking awesome. It's all free on YouTube. Go find it everywhere. Also on YouTube, Zip Tie Tuning is a new car channel, relatively new car channel from two former Linus Tech Tip employees, Alex and Andy, and I just really love it. I love car YouTube, but a lot of the car YouTubes I found are like, there's a place for like more highly produced stuff, and there's a place for like more casual stuff. And I find that a lot of the channels I tend to gravitate towards both, but it's nice to have the balance, I guess. And what I really love about their channel is it's just the two of them. Some of the videos are super casual. They're just working on their cars. They're going through they're buying old cars, they're going through it, trying to do this. Like, it's not these big extravagant adventures. It's literally just, we're trying to, get some more horsepower out of this Acura. And I think they're just like really fun to watch. The videos are great. They feel great. I watched mostly Alex on camera for LTT for so long, and he was never like the most uh, charismatic person on camera, I guess. Like you could always tell he's like so super smart, but I don't think he came across that well on camera. And for whatever reason, him doing it on his own comes off so much better. I really enjoy watching him. So yeah, check him out if you're into cars at all. Zip Tie Tuning, and then that's it. Another podcast in the bag. Oh, fuck, I never told you guys to like and subscribe. Shit. Like, subscribe, especially this new YouTube channel. We're starting over. Spotify follow, Apple podcast follow, leave a 5-star review, comment, do all those things, share the podcast, let everyone know, and I'll see you guys next time.